always think that we don't argue. We don't get through 20 years together and not get into it from time to time.
Yeah, it's all happy and gay until somebody forgets to put their shoes away.
Well, it's not really about the shoes, it's more about the energy.
Here we go.
Hello, everyone. I'm David.
And I'm Jay Brandon, and this is
Husbantr,
the podcast where we talk about careers, relationships, and some life lessons we picked up along the way.
But from the point of view of two queer married men of color.
Please note, we are not professional lawyers, doctors, therapists, life coaches.
But sometimes the lessons you learn from your friends are the ones that end up sticking, so stick with us.
Husbantr is genuinely a space for anyone that wants to gain insight from a different perspective.
And that includes you.
Okay, let's set the scene. Our biggest argument isn't actually about anything that a lot of couples fight over, I think, or that it's very common. It's about energy.
Yeah, because you are someone whose energy really affects the entire room.
Mm-hmm.
And I am someone who absorbs energy.
Right.
Not just yours, just energy in general. I think I've always been like that.
Right. But the thing is that you absorb that energy, but then you are quiet about it. And that's what drives me crazy.
Yeah, but I think there has to be some sort of balance because you aren't quiet when you're upset.
Right.
You're the exact opposite of quiet when you're upset.
Yeah. Okay. I think
To a certain degree.
Yeah. I think also like emotionally because I'm such an emoter.
Mm.
And you know, anyone who knows me knows that like I have what they say is an infectious personality. But it really is like if I am happy and you're near me, you're probably also happy. If I am upset or angry and you're near me, you're probably also upset and angry.
Our more regular argument, and it actually happened today
Mm.
when we were getting ready.
Yeah.
You are nice enough to cut my hair,
Mm-hmm.
and the clippers weren't working properly.
Right.
And you started to get frustrated. And I knew you weren't frustrated with me. And maybe it's because we talked about this episode that I was able to process. And it's funny because I did a little thing today that I was very proud of, and I'll get to in a second.
Uh-huh.
But you got angry at the clippers, and then it changed my mood. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, now I'm angry.
Right.
And that's what happens.
Yeah. Well, okay. Something to know about me for everybody that's listening and watching. The smallest things really set me ablaze.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's because I have OCD. And one of the biggest things that with my particular OCD, and it's haunted me forever is matching socks with my outfits.
Right.
And I
And
know,
your underwear
and my
specifically.
underwear specifically. And I know that's pretty wild. Like my senior year of high school, I missed. Oh my gosh, I almost stayed back my senior year of high school because
Truancy.
the truancy police. Because I missed so many days because if my underwear and socks did not match what I was wearing, I was not leaving the house.
Yeah.
And so what happens a lot for me with small things is it's something simple that I can't control that really sets me off.
Mm-hmm.
And so like when I was cutting your hair and the clippers just weren't working properly, it was a internal, why can't I get this to do what I want it to do?
Mm-hmm.
And that because I am such an emoter and you're such an absorber, you could feel that.
Right. And I cannot figure out how to be in the space any other way than to match your mood. I feel like it's weird if you're in a bad mood, and whether it's a raging bad mood or like a seething bad mood, whatever it may be.
Sure.
I feel like it's strange for me to like just stay in my good mood. Like, let me play some music and like skip around the apartment. It doesn't make sense to me.
Sure, I get that. But at the same time, I think that, and this actually came up in conversation a little bit ago with some friends, you inherently take on the energy of a space.
I do. You're not the only person that we have a great friend, Nikita, who I love Nikita. She's the type of person who, and I say this all the time about her to everyone that I talk to about her because I love her so much. She's the type of person who never changes no matter who's in the room.
Yes.
But because she's such a magnetic person, when her mood changes, the room's mood changes. You're one of those people when your mood, because you're so magnetic, when your mood changes, the room changes.
Right. But I think because you match the energy of the room,
Mhm.
I think that it inherently makes you a good host
Mm,
because you can sort of feel what's going on and really understand on how to match it, if that makes sense.
mm,
I do think though, for a lot of people, because I think you were fortunate to grow up in a beautiful home with parents. When I say beautiful home, your home is beautiful, but I mean your parents love each other
yeah.
deeply
Mhm,
and they respect each other deeply and
mhm,
they are still together. They are each other's people.
mhm.
And so you didn't have to employ understanding the room in that regard when you were a kid. Does that make sense? What I'm saying here?
Yeah, I guess so.
So
I'm gonna
what
follow
I'm
you here, see where
okay,
this
so
goes.
so stay with me, stay with me. But what I'm saying is that for me as a child, my parents got divorced before I was born. They got back together and then got divorced. It was a whole thing. But you tend to sort of step outside of yourself to understand if the space is okay. So you have these moments that our friend Aaron was saying is like these sharpening moments
Mm,
for the future. That for me at a very young age, I understood that I could perceive other people's energy,
mm,
right? But I learned how to sort of shield myself or shut it off, if
mm,
you will. I think now in life for you, you're exploring that. You're starting to realize that you can sense other people's energy.
mm,
Hence the reason when you're in a space, you match that energy because you're sensing it. But where it is it's the discernment between what you're actually feeling and what someone else may be
mm.
feeling.
Oh my god, I'm having like an epiphany right now.
Okay. So
Ah, not
because
not you said, "Okay."
no, but see, you're with me here, is that you not really having to exercise that ability a lot, your discernment from what is your emotion and what is the emotion around you is a little bit difficult. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, but do you think how would you feel, right?
Yeah,
Let's say you're having a one of those days where everything is falling and you can't find stuff
which is every day.
and it puts you in a mood,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
How would you feel if I was having the exact opposite day, like the most wonderful day, and I'm like listening to loud music or listening to
Mhm.
music in general and like skipping around the apartment and just like watching TV and singing? Like,
I
would it
honest
be weird for you?
No.
I don't
It
believe that.
no, but it really wouldn't because like in those days where things are fumbling and all the blah blah blah, it and I say this in the nicest way has nothing to do with you.
And I understand that.
And so if you are skipping around and having a great day, I'm not ever going to look at that and say, "Oh, I'm having a shitty day. How dare he have a good day?" That doesn't make sense.
We're going to have to be fully cognizant
Mm,
of our life
mhm.
in the next couple weeks. So when
Okay.
we come back here and sit down again,
Yeah.
we can see if that's true.
Okay. I
Maybe it's an
I'm down for the
experiment that we
challenge.
bring home.
I'm down for the
When you're
challenge.
having a day,
Okay.
I'm going to make my best effort to like continue my mood if it's a good mood
Mhm.
and see how it affects the space. Because really, what I do, we've talked about it, I absorb your energy. Today, for instance, with the haircut,
Yep.
I absorbed your energy. And the thing that I did that I was proud of myself of
I know what you're gonna say.
is you settled down, you got yourself together. I came out and you were like, "Hey, look, we have to go record the podcast today. I'm good. Like I feel better." And I said to you, "I don't yet.
Yep.
So I need some time."
Yep.
Which I've never done before.
Yeah. And I will tell you, in that moment, I said, "Okay." Because I tend to go like once I'm over a situation, I'm over the situation.
And it takes me a minute.
It
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 takes
it
me a
it doesn't.
minute.
For me, I'm just like, "Boop, boop, I'm out of it," you know?
It takes me a
And
minute.
so when I had realized obviously that I was getting frustrated over the dumbest thing, like I was like, "Okay, let's adjust that energy, let's change it, let's move on." And so then I said to you, "I'm moving on. I've moved on." And when you were like, "No, I have not yet," I was like, "Okay, great." It allowed me to sort of like give you that space.
Yeah.
that I think you needed for us not even to get into an argument. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, we had talked about this episode because we want to make sure that we were respectful of each other, but that we
Yeah.
were also honest. Like, we're not doing
Yeah.
this podcast to not be honest.
Yep.
And we've had this argument or this disagreement or this, I don't know what we would even call it, several times
Hmm.
because I can't let go of the energy and you feel like it's unfair.
Yeah. It's 100%. Sorry, that sounds so
Go
rude.
for it. Go
That sounds
for
so
it.
rude.
We're here. Go
Um,
for it.
but like, because like we were saying earlier, when those things happen, they don't have anything to do with you,
Uh-huh.
right? Like my anger towards objects or blah 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 doesn't have anything to do with you.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's really hard to understand and to accept sort of like blame in a way that I have put you in a mood
Mm,
when I'm just sort of honestly trying to figure out my own feelings. And I think it's because I am such an emoter and you're such an absorber that in those, I don't figure out my feelings quietly, if that makes sense.
right. But if you think about it from my perspective,
Hmm.
okay, so you were in a bad mood. Now I'm in a bad mood.
Hmm.
And then you come out of the bad mood. And I'm like, well, I'm not there yet.
Right. Right.
But before today, before this morning with the Clipper incident, I had never said I'm not there yet. I just stayed in my bad mood, which I'll be honest,
Yep.
it's not the best thing to do.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, well, he put me in a bad mood. So it's his fault he put me in a bad mood. Oh, that's so bad that I do that. I just,
Thank you. So you see what I am saying. And the thing is like I'm not
that's
saying
so
that like
petty.
well, it's I don't think anyone has ever told you that you're an empath.
Continue.
You can feel other people's emotions. You can
Okay.
understand them. I think if I'm being very honest and with all due respect, I don't think you're in control of that.
Yeah.
And I think that you, again, being around people, you, without even knowing it, you've absorbed a little piece of them and you start to feel what they feel. But like I was saying earlier, that the power in being an empath comes from the ability to understand your emotions as something separate from the emotions you're feeling.
Right. This whole time, I just thought it was Puerto Rican Catholic guilt.
I mean, that's definitely part
Part
of
of
it.
it.
I think that that's probably like your gateway into it, if that makes sense. But yeah, you truly being an empath, it's not uncommon for you to blame a person or blame a space for the way you're feeling because it's an outside entity that
Got it.
you have sort of opened yourself to without knowing. Does that make
That
sense?
makes sense.
So like in those moments where like I'm emoting and you're just absorbing, it's very fair for you to subconsciously blame me.
The whole purpose of this podcast was so that way we could share life lessons with the folks listening.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I feel like I'm learning so much about myself right now in this moment. That wasn't not that it wasn't the intention, but like
No,
it
but
wasn't
I
the
think
intention, but it's great.
yeah, and I think along this journey, it's exciting because we're going to learn lessons. We're going to talk about things that we may have thought we hashed out, or
Right.
maybe we didn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that this, it's like this big argument, if you will, of matching on energy and trying to understand one another. It's an ongoing journey for us.
Oh,
It's
100%.
something that like we're not gonna
Yeah.
I don't think ever because we're always growing and we're always changing.
Yeah.
So it's always going to be growing and changing.
Yeah. And I I'm learning a lot about myself. I'm an empath.
Uh-huh.
I get it. And I figured out today a way to communicate by chance. It was not intentional. It just came out of my body and it worked.
Yep.
Um, but what other ways do we work through this problem?
I think a lot of what I tend to do is I will go back and explain what my intention was. Or I'll ask in the moment, did you mean it this way? Because I think that there are times, and we've done this in the past, where um, I'll say, okay, well, the way you said X made me feel this.
Mhm.
And sometimes you'll say, that was not my intention.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, I truly didn't mean that.
Yep.
Right. But sometimes, and which I appreciate, you'll say, no, in that moment, I fully meant for you to offend you. And but I appreciate that honesty. Because it then makes me understand that, like, okay, in that moment, you were upset and you just needed to get something off your chest.
When you've shifted back to a non-angry energy,
Mhm, mhm.
you
You make me sound like I'm like the Incredible Hulk. Like,
Rawr! And when you finish busting down the door, you come and you make a joke and you try to lighten the mood and you try to bring it back. And I will say it is very hard for me
sure,
to jump on that train right away.
sure.
And
But I
I stay
think,
quiet
but I think when you said
today.
I'm not over it yet, it allowed me to stop that jokey energy.
What what works for us is that it leads to one of our state of our union
State of our
conversations. State of our
union.
union. I
Yes.
love that we
And
coined that.
we do these state of our unions where we stop, we check in with each other. How are we?
Yeah.
How are we feeling? Are we
Yeah.
happy? Are we
Right.
unhappy? If so, what are the things we're unhappy about?
And when we were in marriage counseling, we did it often.
Mhm.
We almost, if not daily, weekly. Um, and now that I feel like we've really learned how to communicate like adults and honestly with each other,
Yeah.
we do it when we need to do it. And these arguments, these energy shifts, whatever they may be,
Yeah.
are usually a catalyst for a state of our union,
Right.
which is, look, this is where I was today. Well, everything kept falling. I had a bad day at work, or, I had an argument with my mother, yada, 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 yada. Great. Now I understand. Well, when you did that, it shifted the energy in the room for me. I
Mm.
I couldn't do XYZ. I felt like I had to tiptoe around this, that, and the third. And sometimes that's it. And sometimes it's, well, why'd you tiptoe? And we just go back and forth
Right.
until
Because I'm feeling petty.
we're wow.
I'm
There's a
joking.
lot of
I'm
pettiness in this
joking.
relationship, apparently.
No, I'm just joking. What we're saying is, one, we've set rules for each
Mhm.
other. When we get into disagreements,
Yeah.
of no name calling,
Yep.
no raising of the voice.
Yep.
To the point where if one of us does start to raise a little bit of voice,
Yeah.
because it happens,
It's happened.
it's happened.
I think I'm this is no joke. I
Yeah.
think in 20 years,
Hmm.
I think it's maybe happened 3 times.
Maybe.
I can think of 2 solidly.
Yeah. And but even in those moments, it's like you've been like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
We do
We
not.
do not do
We
that.
do not do
And
that.
I've been like, hey, why are you getting up there?
Yep. Yep.
Bring it back.
Yep.
Right. And I am a person that I really enjoy hashing something out. I want to get to the bottom of it.
Mhm.
I want to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
I really do. So I think that these state of our unions are really helpful for me because it takes the guessing work out of our relationship.
Yeah.
It makes me go, okay, I understand and black and white solidly know we are here, here, and here. Here are the things that I need to bring to the table. Here are the things that I'm expecting. And it allows me to get rid of making stuff up.
Yep.
It allows me to get rid of assuming.
And I don't think I've ever said this to you, but I also have like an internal clock that is running during these types of conversations or arguments or
Uh-huh.
feelings or moods.
Uh-huh.
And it's slumber party time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when it's getting close for us to sit down in front of the TV with our TV dinner trays, which we do regularly,
Yes, we do.
and have our dinner
Yes.
and watch our reality TV shows and then move on to our sitcoms and then to a movie, whatever our slumber party night is for the night, which happens almost daily.
Yes.
I want to be done with that energy by that point.
I get that.
And if for some reason we can't get past it by that point, we're not going to bed angry.
No.
That is
No.
not happening.
That's an
That's
old,
a big
that's an
rule in
old
our house.
adage that you don't go to bed angry.
But we really stick
it's
to it.
true.
Yeah.
You can't go to bed angry.
You're just
and
ruining the next day.
yeah, you're ruining the next day. You're ruining your sleep.
Yeah.
All of that stuff. And then it just, even if the next day you wake up and you feel like you're over it, you're not.
Right.
Because there's this underlying blah. Because I've gone to bed angry with friends. I've gone to bed angry with, I love you, mom, but my mom, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, not I would not go to bed sleeping next to you
Right.
angry.
Right.
It's so wild.
It's so wild. Okay, it is time for this week's Husbantr hot takes, and the
Husbantr
first
hot
question
takes.
is mine.
Yes.
This is a serious one.
Okay, I'm ready.
Don't be offended.
Oh my gosh.
Be honest.
Okay.
Do you believe Beyoncé is the greatest performer of all time?
That is so random.
I'm trying to get you in trouble because do you believe it?
I believe
there might be some
the
beehive.
people who believe she is the greatest performer of all time, she is.
That was what?
Exactly.
Do I believe it?
Do you believe it? Greatest performer of all time. Of all time?
I think she's up there
Sure.
with the greatest performers of all time.
Sure.
It depends on what you're looking for.
Okay.
I will, like, if you're looking for a Whitney Houston moment, I don't think it's Beyoncé. It's Whitney Houston.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. That's why, yes. Okay, I agree. But okay, I'm going to bring it back to the subject because we've been talking about arguments and things like that. So my question is, does every disagreement need an official apology?
Oh, see, the key word there is disagreement.
Okay.
No, every
Okay.
disagreement does not need an official apology.
I agree.
If you're having a disagreement and you realize it's a disagreement, you can acknowledge that you've disagreed on something.
Right. And you don't need to apologize
if you
for it.
eventually agree on it, great. Now, if it's an argument and someone has done something that hurts someone's feelings,
then you should apologize.
Then you should 100% apologize.
You should apologize. Yeah.
And that is a crock of shit coming from me because I am the worst. I am the worst apologizer.
It's true.
On the planet.
It's true.
On the planet. And I get that. I love you, Mom, but I get that from you. I've heard my mother apologize very few times. And one of the times was to you.
Yeah.
Because she loves you. My mother's obsessed with you.
Don't make me
She
cry.
loves you.
Oh my God. Stop it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to throw one out there. And you know what?
Yes.
I think years ago, this might have caused an argument, which is funny, but I don't think it will this time.
Okay.
Who is your hall pass?
Oh, this actually would cause an argument years ago, but now not the case.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, for a really long time, it was The Rock. I
never got that ever. I never understood it.
Do you smell what The Rock is? Anyways,
no.
But now, can I have two?
Jesus.
I will say, Jesse Williams.
That's mine.
Jesse Williams is so handsome. And obviously Aaron Pierre.
You can't have
Aaron Pierre.
That is not fair. First of all,
what?
Aaron Pierre is mine. Secondly,
well, first of all, he can't be either of ours. So
Aaron Pierre is mine. That's a good one. All right, I'm gonna think of something different for myself. I would snuggle with Jonathan Bailey.
Oh, that would be cute.
So snuggly.
That would be really cute.
Like a really
but
nice
have you? What was it? The strangers, the next door neighbors, the
fellow
travelers.
Yeah.
I might change my answer. We may still have our disagreements, but at the end of the day, we still always come back to love and understanding.
Yes, we disagree. We have arguments. But at the end of the day, I love you. I love you more than anyone else in the world. I respect you more than anyone else in the world. So I don't ever want some silly argument to get in the way of our future.
Right. I fully agree. And that's very sweet. And I appreciate you saying all those things, but you do not have to make up for today's episode.
Oh, I'm not. Everything still stands. You still get very angry very easily.
Okay, that's enough. Thank you.
but I am excited to interview you next week.
Ooh, that's going to be fun.
So, folks, be sure to tune in to our next episode where I interview celebrity makeup artist, beauty contributor, my husband, and co-host, J. Brandon Correa.
Ah, you're so stupid.
It's
And
all things Jay Brandon.
oh my God, you're out of control. And don't forget to follow and subscribe, and share Husbantr with your friends, your family, anybody who wants to hear it, because we love you. If you love us, we love you. So please share it.
And be sure to tune in next week. Again, I am interviewing the one and only Jay Brandon Correa.
And remember, life's better with a little banter.
Husbantr is hosted, written, and produced by David and Jay Brandon Correa.
And our theme song is Snap Bracelet by Brain Tan. You can check them out on Instagram at brain__tan.